This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Spike and Jones podcast. You know when you pull up to the haunted house and it says, go back? Or you pull up to the freeway and it says, road out, go back, advance at your own peril. Well, that's what this podcast is. If you go on from here, it's your own fucking fault.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
There's nothing I can say about Donald Trump when it comes to cars.
That's a good way to roll.
That's a great way. I'm telling you, buddy. I put up Trump guardrails on this broadcast today.
Oh, yeah, bumper. What do they call those on the bumper rails?
Bumpers, yeah, the bumper rails for like bowling, right? Trump can't gutterball our podcast today.
God, I was listening to last week's podcast where I was a racist. A racist.
A racist.
That's
good.
Rachel
that's where you,
from Friends.
That's where you. No, Rachel Maddow. I get it. Yeah. Way to take it back to politics.
Thank you,
cork sucker.
And nice. She's so good at sucking the cork.
She's good at sucking the you cork sucker.
Oh, that's one of my favorite
fucking bastages. You fucking bastages.
Did you see that with Janet Jackson? The cork sucking?
No.
It's on Saturday Night Live. I thought that's what you were referring
to.
No,
I was talking about Johnny Dangerously.
Oh, okay.
With Joe Pesci. Joe Piscopo. Joe Piscopo. Okay.
You need to watch that. It's, what's his name who plays Dr. Spaceman on 30 Rock? He was on Saturday Night Live.
Purnell.
Right. Yeah. He's with Janet Jackson, and they're in Italy at a cork sucking.
She's a cork sucker.
And she's trying so hard. You can see she's looking up, trying to say the words correctly so she doesn't slip. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're watching Archer?
You know what? No.
Watch Archer.
I've heard it's great.
Watch Archer, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it
Sterling Archer is one of the great characters of all time.
Constantly sneaking in little bits underneath.
Oh, sneaking shit. They will club you.
Really?
Club you with the inappropriateness. Archer's just a whoremonger.
Sounds delicious.
Whoremonger.
Your eyes crossed.
Oh my God. Sterling Archer is the greatest. Great cast, man.
I hold in my hand a caramel macchiato, of which I've never had.
Really?
Never.
Shoot.
And I got to admit that I'm not a big Starbucks guy. Starbucks trademark. But it's pretty darn good.
Well, I mean, you put enough caramel in there, you can...
Yeah, it's really
I could have made you a dog shit latte. If a caramel dog shit shittiato would have been fine.
I need some more MCT oil so I can just crap this out. But
how's your butt, by the way? Let's start there.
It's great. I actually slowed down. I actually took I took your advice, which is the third time you try it, probably slow roll it a bit. Yeah. So instead of 6 teaspoons a day, it's more like 2.5.
Okay.
Although I will say that yesterday I took the risk of I started in the morning with a tablespoon, so that's 3 teaspoons. And then halfway through the day I did 2 teaspoons, and then last night I did a tablespoon again. And I didn't have any issues.
Wow, okay.
So I'm thinking I just forced my body to deal with it.
Your colon's pre-disaster.
Yeah.
Nice.
Colonoscopy. I'm making up words.
You are, man. You are.
So I hit a curb driving in. I was telling you. So what you guys don't know is I got almost zero sleep last night. I don't know. I was too warm. So I live in North Bend, and I live right at the base of Mount Washington, and this time of year when seasons change, and there's more moss. It's somehow the way the winds blow through the valley that I live in, and again, I live sort of at the end of this valley where it will literally snow on my house and then not be snowy like a quarter of a mile down the road. I mean, it's insane. I literally am up against that cold snowpack weather form thing, whatever that is, and we get a fair amount of humidity at certain times of the year, and last night was one of those nights where it was just kind of wet inside the house.
Yeah.
And being tired, and I kind of protein loaded my body last night because I thought I just want to go to sleep and have lots of protein in my body. Of course, my body was like chewing all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had almost like a fever dream. And dude, so check this out. I had a dream. This is no lie. I can't really remember much of it now. And I was actually thinking maybe we should do a
dreams.
Deep six, because I've talked to you about dreams before.
We could deep sick dreams.
But last night, dude, I mean, I'm not going to cry, so don't worry about it. But last night I dreamed about my dad.
Okay.
And it was, but it was so bizarre. Like, I mean, clearly a dream, not like a vision or something like that. And I was near this town, and I saw this glowing sort of person off in the distance. And as I walked closer to it, I realized that was my dad. And I was like, oh my God, my dad's alive. You know, like, how's this possible? My dad's been dead for 6-7 months. He's alive. But he walked right by me and didn't even look at me like you know, and I was like, but that's got to be it looks like my dad, you know?
Wow.
And so I went and got my friends and some of my family, my wife, and I said, hey, you come with me, quick. And as we're walking up the hill, there was ambulances and all these police, and they were all holding my dad like he was a bad guy who was impersonating my dad. It was very, very weird. I don't know, maybe the terrorist thing that happened in London yesterday kind of affected it all. Yeah. But as I got closer to my dad, it still looked like my dad, but now it wasn't my 40-year-old dad. It was my 60-year-old dad, and he had like a Hitler mustache.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was really, this wasn't profound. It was just weird.
No, it was weird.
But I kept having moments in the dream where I'd be like, look, that's my dad. And I remember looking at him with his little weird Hitler mustache that my dad actually had for a brief period of time. When I say Hitler,
I know what you mean.
It wasn't the square, but it was like a really tight, dropped down to the edges of the lips, but it was really, really fat at the top and really skinny down here. And I kept saying, no, it's my dad. And we kept going back, and he would change constantly. It was like the generations of Bob Jones. It was very bizarre. And the result of that was, well, let's see, not really any sleep, very fitful, sleep, and getting up every 2 hours to pee and whatever else. So basically, I'm just fragged. I'm fragged.
Nice.
In a good way, but I love seeing you.
2 nights ago, I had never seen Django.
Django Unchained?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
It's real good.
It's real good.
Yeah, I found out the other night at 1 a.m. how good that motherfucking movie was.
Yeah.
Because it came on at 10. I was watching something, and it came on, and I'd never seen it. And I'm like, oh, that sucks, because I like Tarantino, and I like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And I love, who's the actor who played the German? I love him too.
Oh yeah, Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz is brilliant. I think he's fantastic in that movie. Yeah. So I'm watching Django, and it's starting, and I always love Tarantino's music in his movies. He's old school when it comes to movie music. Okay, they're walking him through, and here comes Christoph Waltz, and I'm like, holy shit, look at this guy. He's perfect. Yeah, he's perfect. And then. Okay, next thing you know, I'll stay a little bit longer, and it's getting better. I'm like, holy shit, look at this movie. It's awesome. Yeah. The kid's unnatural. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going anywhere. The cast is awesome. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Next thing you know, it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot.
I can't see with these goddamn masks on. Who made these? My wife was up all night.
Don't have nothing else on me and mine.
So
and I'm like, I said to Melissa, is that a skinny Jonah Hill? She goes, no. I was like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's like, wow. Don Johnson.
Are we wearing the masks or not?
How about next time we wear the mask? We'll take grateful for the effort.
Yeah.
I got.
This is a raid. We're here to scare them, boys. It's a raid. You got to wear the mask.
Big Daddy's getting away.
I
got him. Big Daddy's getting away.
So great.
I'm telling you. I'm like, damn, it's awesome.
Yeah, so much fun.
You're going to insist I shake your hand? Bam. I love that. It was awesome.
Yeah. That scene with Leonardo when he's bleeding is real. So that's a real glass he broke. So he slammed his hand on the glass.
And at the table. When he saw
really
the bone.
broke his hand.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it really cut his hand really, really bad.
Really?
They actually cut the scene because he was bleeding so bad. But then later on, so they kind of mini taped him a little bit inside so it wouldn't go so bad, but it started bleeding anyway. And so when he grabs her face and is rubbing the blood, that's really his blood.
Wow. Really?
And she was not expecting it.
No
so her
shit.
response is clearly one of, what the gross.
Did you ever see The Hateful Eight?
Yes.
Remember when she broke the guitar?
Yeah.
Or when he broke the guitar?
18-something guitar.
Yeah, that's a classic, unduplicatable 18-something Martin.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to stop the scene and swap out the stunt guitar.
Yeah.
And he takes and smashes that fucking classic Martin against a pole.
Yeah.
And her reaction is just
real.
Whoa!
Yeah. She goes, whoa, and then she looks, you can see she's looking at the camera,
director.
at the director like, what just happened? What just happened?
Yeah.
That's so great. But the reality is
it's Tarantino. Yeah, but you know what? That's fine. It's all he's Tarantino. They got money. You can't build a new 1876 Martin.
I know.
That one's whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Holy shit! That came out of Kurt's back end of the movie too.
But that scene really
worked. You know what I read this week?
It's
funny. We haven't got to our topic. That's cool though.
That's okay.
I read this week that
10 minutes in. We're 10.
Sean Connery was offered the role of Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings trilogies.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he turned it down because he couldn't make sense of the scripts.
You've got to be setting
I swear to no. I read this week. We do the prep service for the shows, and we get the syndicated prep service that all morning shows get. It's Tiny Tim's birthday today. He would have been 92. Right. That kind of shit show. Right. Some of them are cool. 75% of Americans have a sex toy their partner doesn't know about, both male and female. It's some weird shit. Connery was offered the role of Gandalf, and when he turned it down, they offered him some back end, and he still wouldn't take it.
Wow,
and he would have made. They estimate he would have made $450 million.
Crazy
from doing Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That's some serious back end.
That's some serious. That's Beyonce and J-Lo back end. That's big ass back end, man. That's Nicki Minaj back end. Do you know Nicki Minaj now has more top 100 singles than Aretha Franklin?
That's actually
taking over the number one
how
spot.
Pathetic our country is.
I was about to say the same thing. She is now the most female artist with the most top 100 songs of all time, with 76 top 100 songs in the Billboard Top 100.
You can take the tarp off of a boat and it won't cover her ass.
Blue or brown tarp? That's not a racial joke.
Blue.
It's a size thing. Okay, good. Blue. Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah. She's got a fucking ridiculously huge ass. I'm sorry.
It's
okay, boys. I'm sorry, but
that's not my thing.
No, it's nobody's thing.
Well, I don't know.
There was a guy in Enumclaw with a horse, so everybody's got a thing. I get
Speaking of bestiality, you went and saw Beauty and the Beast.
I did not like it, man. You know what? And I didn't.
I heard you on the radio.
Yeah, and it was funny because I'm trying to, be nice and not spoil. I mean, how do you spoil a movie that's 20-some years old?
Well,
first off, the story
isn't it exactly the same as the animated movie?
They made some story changes in the movie, but it was. And I think my on-air assessment of it, I think I did a decent job, at least, of portraying my thoughts on the movie. Not whether it was a good review or a bad review. I don't, who the fuck am I? But I think I did a nice job verbalizing my.
Well, it was nice that you were sitting on the other side of the theater. That helped.
Yeah, from my kids. Yeah. Here's Disney animation. I love.
Yeah.
I love Disney animation, and they tried too hard to recreate the Disney animation aspect of it. Have you seen the animated movie Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
It's actually my favorite Disney.
So it's a great
movie.
job.
I prefer it.
It's
over
a great job.
Even like Frozen. I think it's
right.
great.
So when she's going through the village, bonjour, bonjour. Well, they try to recreate that with live humans, and it's just too fucking
cartoony.
Yeah, I mean they got the stupid faces and and there's these people trying. It's one thing when you got some cartoon guy looking, getting hit with a board or something, and then you try to do it with the humans. It's like, and poor Emma Watson, God love her. I mean, most of the movie she's acting to a tennis ball. Because it's all CGI, whether it's Lemire or Cogsworth or whatever. And I couldn't shake that it's Emma Thompson the whole
Watson.
time. No. Emma Thompson was Mrs. Potts.
Oh.
So every time Emma Thompson is doing Mrs. Potts, I can't shake that it's fucking Emma Thompson doing a hokey British accent, love.
Right.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I could have done the fucking movie. But I think, and I said this on the air, what just freaked me out the most was Emma Watson falling for an animal.
Yeah, but
it's one thing when it's a cartoon, and it's the cartoon beast. that worked. But when you see a young Emma Watson literally falling for an animal, it just was icky. It was just like, it gave me the willies.
So the
is
Beast,
what I said.
I don't know. I haven't seen the preview. So
Right.
does the Beast, the person who plays the Beast, does he look like a human with lots of hair, or
No.
does he actually look like an animal?
He looks like an animal. They did a nice CGI job on this. I'm not sure it was an actor in a full makeup, if it was CGI'd or what. It was probably an actor in a makeup, in a full regalia, you know. Mm-hmm. But you know, she's.
Is this one of those we don't see color moments? You know, like I don't see color. I don't see.
Something wasn't there before.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still fucking fangs, though, right? He's still got big horns on his head, right? I mean, there's something now that wasn't there before. I get that. He's got a glint in his eye and 4-inch fangs. Okay? He's got a heart of gold and paws. Okay? Okay?
Yeah, I get where you're going with this.
I just couldn't wrap my. I mean, I could wrap my head around the cartoon falling in love with the Beast. That was. It's a freaking cartoon.
You know it's not
right.
real.
And here's this young, beautiful Emma Watson falling for an animal.
Yeah.
And I just like.
I guess it's proof that anybody can have Emma Watson.
Yeah, really. And I love Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline is the Beast?
Is the dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the most poorly cast role of his life.
Kevin Kline?
Kevin Kline was her father.
That's weird.
Yeah. It was just, I'm like,
Wait, so who's the Beast? Who plays the?
I don't know the actor who played the Beast. I honestly couldn't tell you because at the end of the movie they make him human, and I didn't even recognize him.
Okay.
You know, Ewan McGregor was Lemire with a strapped-on French accent.
Yeah.
Ian McClellan, right, was Gandalf. Was the Claw Cogsworth.
Oh.
And that was fine. I recognized his voice. It was fine. You know, just, you know, there was a talking, you know, a piano or a minuet, they call that thing, or whatever, the piano, harpsichord, whatever. That was a bigger character in this, and he was played by Stanley Tucci. In the end, we were like, what the fuck? Why would Stanley Tucci play that character?
Was it, I'm mixing my Disney movies. What was the movie where the animated character was dipped into like acid? And it's like,
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
They gave him the dip.
The dip. That's what I'm thinking of. Forget it.
That's okay.
So who played Roger Rabbit?
And I thought Christopher Lloyd did a great job in that one, right?
Oh, God, so scary.
Yeah.
The eyes.
Yeah, and that was fun. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, poor Emma Watson, half the time I liked her acting, half the time I thought it was just, oh my God, this poor girl acting to a tennis ball, you know, acting to a...
And she had the British accent the whole time,
the
right?
whole time.
She wasn't playing
That's
American.
what screwed me up, too. Half the town had American accents, half the town had French accents, half the town had British accents.
150%.
Like a fucking UN meeting. And what the hell is this? You know? My God, really? You know, it's just like, wow.
So you're telling me you liked it.
Loved it. Saw it 3 times. No, you know. And it was funny because I wanted to just walk on like, what a piece of shit. I love that movie. I'm like, okay, yeah, it was great.
So what'd you like about Django Unchained? Let's go back there because that's far more fun to talk.
I loved.
Because it's a little fresh, so you can't really drop plot points. You know,
yeah, I guess
like the whole Leonardo and the
yeah. Okay.
There's certain things you can't do.
What I like about Django, I just loved. And the actor's name escapes me again.
Sam Jackson, maybe?
No. He was great.
Oh, Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz. I loved his character.
Absolutely.
Loved his character.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a phenomenal. He had it down.
He deserved the Oscar.
Yeah.
Even though it's unfair that they pitted him in the supporting character,
right,
because he really was the main character.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
until he wasn't in the movie anymore.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Wow,
maybe
really?
You know, that's a fair argument to make.
Until he wasn't in the movie, he was the main guy.
That's a fair argument to make, but he deserved the Oscar. It was brilliant role for him. Yeah. I loved that character. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
I have in here a deed.
Yep. Would you allow me to reach into my pocket?
Yes.
You know, I mean, he was. Yeah. Make sure you send the sheriff and not the marshal.
Yeah.
You know, shall we wait?
And then just stand there with the paper.
I mean, it was.
We have the right.
I mean, he was brilliant. It was genius. The way he pulled off every move he made was just pure fucking genius.
Yeah.
You know, I was, you know, and I can't believe I'd been so long without seeing it. Yeah. It's been out for a while.
It's bloody,
and I just never got to it. It wasn't stupidly.
Hatefully, it was
Hatefully, it was stupid bloody. Stupid
but
bloody.
only in that one, long sequence.
Yeah.
The rest of it was just...
wasn't too bad. But the violence in this was well played.
Yeah.
It was graphic and bloody, but it was well played.
Yeah.
You know, it was Tarantino really got the shit done in that movie.
No, Django, you son of a bitch!
Yeah, man. And I loved Sam Jackson's character.
Yeah.
The more I look back on it, the more I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, he played that thing. Played everybody in the room, not just the actor, but
he's an evil.
Played everybody in the room, man. And then he gets behind closed doors. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mr. Step and Fetch It. Yeah. That was damn. You know, that was cool. That was so well done, so layered out, man.
Yeah. That's good. It's a good movie. It deserves repeated viewings too. I watched.
I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Yeah,
I watched it again on Netflix recently. It was yummy. It's a good. It's a little long and
3 hours. Right? It's about 3 hours.
The only thing I'm not going to say what happens at the end for people who haven't seen it, but to me it was just such a ride that the ending was almost a bit of a letdown because it was so
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And not from a graphic blood perspective. No. It was too easy.
Yeah.
The end was too easy for him.
Yeah.
But given the setup before the ending, there wasn't much left to throw at him.
Yeah.
He kind of cleaned house. And he stops on the way back to make sure that it's going to be an easy ending. Yeah. He set up his own easy ending. It wasn't unrealistically easy.
Yeah.
You know, but
it was definitely written though. It definitely felt. I mean, that's Tarantino. It feels written like it's crafted to go this way. It doesn't feel like it's not. It's hyper realism. It's definitely not natural. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, Pulp Fiction was even with all its crazy writing, felt natural. It felt like these are things that could really happen to people.
Absolutely.
These moments.
In this world and that world, this is what's going to happen.
But in Django, it was the opposite. It was hyper real, and the only thing that I didn't like was when they copped the scene from Heather's lighting the cigarette on the explosion sort of idea. When he's standing in front of the house, you know, and just stands there.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me of the end of Heather's when Veronica has the cigarette in her mouth before JD blows himself up, and she lights the cigarette off of his explosion. Yeah. I mean, it was just that same kind of like just standing there defiant. Okay, I'm waiting. You know. Okay. So you had mentioned a really, really safe, again, because of last week in my racist comments.
Whatever.
That we should do a deep six today on something simple that we all love. And that was Gary Numan's Cars.
You're an asshole. Maybe the most perfect song ever written. That's not what I was talking about.
As a one-hit wonder, pretty great.
Now it's time at the band The Cars.
Oh, even better.
Who I love. It's funny. When I texted you about, hey, let's talk about cars. I've been humming car songs in my head all day since that.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about the automobile, man. The American, you know, maybe the most American invention of all time. And it wasn't even an American invention. Someone in France had made a motorized, mechanized,
where the term,
you know,
mobile.
Yeah.
Right.
But the American car, man, the vehicle of freedom itself. You know, I mean, nothing portrays the American dream or America.
Of the dream.
Well, no, it you know, the independence of a car. Yeah. You know, the mobility of a car.
The highway systems.
The facility of a car.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing an on-air giveaway where we're going to take people to a hot rod show, and then somebody we're going to take to like this big hot rod event in the summertime, Hot August nights.
Mike's going to win it. Mike's going to win
it. Okay, good. Yeah. And I've been thinking about cars a lot because of that contest, and I'm thinking, you know, everybody remembers their first car. Everybody remembers their first car date. Everybody remembers everything. What you did in your car. I mean, you know, we could go through all that shit. You know, I was kind of raised in the car business. My dad ran car dealerships, so you know, I almost had like, you know, I wreck a car, Dad would bring home a new one.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like we were like, you know, and that sounds ridiculously spoiled and silver spoon up my ass kind of, but. I mean, I never had a new car. I don't think I've ever. I didn't buy a new car until I was married. You know, until I was married for a while. I didn't get a new car. You know, my first ever brand new, nobody else owned it before me car. You know, because my dad was in the business. So somebody would trade in a nice car, that would come home.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, my first car was a 71 Mercury Comet, which was a Maverick with a bigger fucking engine. You know, Mercury was, of course, the maybe like the trim,
elite
right,
trim.
of a Ford. You know, like a Lexus is a better Toyota, an Acura is a better Honda. Mercury was the better Ford. So a Maverick, which was the little, you know, sport little compact or you know, little utility car, but a Maverick had a Mercury Comet had a big fucking engine in it. And you know, and I'm running around a 16-year-old with a Mercury Comet, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Was it fast?
Oh, it was too fucking fast.
Way too much power.
Yeah, the back end would leave the ground.
Yeah,
I mean,
all front end power.
You'd break the back end free all the time in that car without even trying. I mean, it was like, holy shit. You know, my first car.
Was it gold?
Yes.
That's that color.
It was, man. It was. Yeah. It was like a mustard yellowy gold. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
My brother had a red one.
Oh man.
And I got a gold one. My dad bought us, like, you know, once my brother had got his, he kind of started looking for mine.
Right.
At one of the dealerships, took one in, and he brought it home. You know,
yeah, that's the era of like the Duster and the and the Pacer.
Hey, mine was a 71
Vega.
You know, I think I got it in 79 when I turned 16.
Wow.
You know, so it was a used car.
Yeah.
But with a lot of life left in it until I killed it. You know.
How'd you kill it?
Going over a bridge in the snow on the highway. I was
like off the side of
no,
it?
No. I was coming home on a snowy night. We had moved out in the county from Baltimore City after I'd burned my house to the ground. We moved out to the county, and my girlfriend still lived in the city. My high school was still in the city. I was in the city every day in this car, and I'd come home out to Bel Air from Baltimore, Harford County, and was coming home on I-95 on a colder night, snowy night, and it started to snow a little bit. And it's a little heavy traffic going on 95. And I'm going north over a little overpass, and the cars were moving pretty good, and the guy in front of me hit his brakes in front of me while I was still on the bridge. And so I just and because the bridge just freezes before roadways.
Yeah.
And I just lost traction and just slid, trying to avoid that guy, slid it into the guardrail on the bridge.
Oh.
And literally just ate the front end, and the whole driver's side of it just got chewed up.
Wow.
And it was like, do we fix this piece of shit, or do we just go get you a new one? Here's your Toyota Celica. You know, that's how that. Exactly. It's a little sportier. You know, it's fine.
Wow.
But that was my first car.
So you're because I mean I knew this, that your father had done dealerships. My father had done the same thing.
Yeah.
But we didn't own them. We had just jumped from ship to ship. My dad's whole thing was very, very similar. I didn't grow up in the car industry, meaning I didn't ever work in it.
Yeah.
Outside of, I think I cleaned the floors of some dealerships,
right.
You know, and during the summer to make some extra money.
And my dad didn't own them. He just he managed a group.
Same here.
An auto group.
Okay, that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, but we weren't in Baltimore. We weren't in the cities. We were in not even the suburbs. We were in tiny towns in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we went from Centralia, Chehalis, Wenatchee, Tonasket, Yakima, Olympia, and in each one of those towns, Dad probably worked at 5 or 6 dealerships.
Yeah.
Trying to find that perfect fit, but in addition, you know, he had figured out enough political whatever. He had gained enough political mojo to, when he jumped ship, he could sort of impersonate. Originally, it was like impersonate the general manager, to then getting the skill set to then actually be hired as a general manager.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Right. And did it over and over and over again until, he got to the point where he really knew his stuff.
Knew how to run a dealership, yeah.
You know, I remember in 1981, we were living in Olympia, and he had like the top, I mean, in one month, every month it changes, but Mazda, he was working for Coachman, I think is what it was, in Olympia. He sold 31 cars in 1981 at a Mazda dealership.
That's a pretty good month.
Yeah. I mean, one guy.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
You know what I mean? And I was like, holy crap, you know.
That's rolling some metal, man.
Yeah, so our family, you know, was that sort of thing where
commission job. I'd get it, man.
Yeah,
I know how it rolled.
You know. But yeah, Dad had the same opportunities. He got trade-ins. He got
right. That's a make your own opportunity world.
Yeah,
that's be your own boss time.
Yeah,
you know, we're at the station here last week, and our boss is kind of giving us a little what for, because the numbers are down a little bit this year from last year. And he's like, "You guys run your own. You each run your own business. You dictate how your business does."
Wow.
But the problem is, we all work for a company, and then when you guys all decide to let your business slide a little bit collectively, the whole company takes a massive hit, and we're down a massive amount from last year. So, but that is you are your own boss. You're in a position where you can dictate how much money you're going to make.
Yeah.
You can work harder and make more money. I mean, I've never had a job where this is what it pays, these are the hours, this is what you'll get every fucking week. That being said, I've been doing that for 26 years.
Yeah.
I've been doing that. Exactly. This is what you make. This is when you work. That's what it is. But in my on-air bracket, there's always the, do an endorsement for this one. There's a little more money there. Do a commercial. Do an appearance over here. A little more money there. A little pocket change. Get the band out there. Make a little more money. A little more pocket change. A little more of that peripheral, not off the books, but unexpected windfall kind of extra little gravy money.
Yeah.
But in sales, it's completely work harder, make more. Yeah. Simple equation.
Yeah.
You got this desk, you got that phone, you got this resources. These are the assets you have to sell. Not even my assets, and that's pretty amazing opportunity.
So I have to ask this because I kind of knew this and kind of didn't. When it comes to CBS, when it comes to your show, and you don't want to share this, we don't have to. But you had mentioned you do these other gigs, other side things, and it's a little gravy, right? Does CBS own Spike and the Inhalers?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. But do they have say?
No.
Do they have sway?
No. But they make the band bigger. The band makes the station bigger. It's a mutually symbiotic, beneficial relationship. The band is bigger with the station behind it.
Yeah.
When I can say, like the Christmas party at Snoqualmie or a summer concert at wherever, with the power of KZOK's promotional arm behind it, of course, it's a bigger product than the band just through social media promotion.
Yeah, they'll spend the beans on it.
The station also has now their own rock band that's got me fronting it who's been on air for 27 years now, going on 28 this summer. That's got some legacy brand recognition in the marketplace, some equity. Not to be jerking myself off in front of everybody, but
it's very hot.
But that's what the station has now the ability to go out there and say, okay, Casino X, we'll bring the band in there, we'll put it on the air, we'll drive ticket sales. You pay the station for a commercial, campaign to promote the band and drive people to your casino. So it's something that the station didn't used to have available to sell.
Yeah.
Non-traditional revenue, NTR.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't really understand how it worked, and I, again, like I said, didn't have to share, but I'm glad.
No, that's okay. And the band aspect is a unique beast. I mean, when I say go stand on a parking lot of a, car dealership or a RV store, or a car stereo store, or whatever it might be, a bar for a football party, those are traditional radio appearance promotions. Or be the voice of a car dealership, pillow, bank, bar, restaurant, whatever it is that you're endorsing. Those are also additional revenue streams for radio.
Do you still dig up your own advertising dollars for the Nate Spike?
Not necessarily. I still have my clients that are my accounts.
Right.
Because people have, there's no really, here's your list. Those used to be the case. You come in there, here's your clients to call on.
Oh.
Those days are over. When somebody comes in now, they have to literally go through what's left of the city. And let's be fair. I mean, if we have 5% of the city advertising with us, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like there aren't 50 car dealerships out there that aren't on our radio station already.
Right.
And your job is to go convince them that this is their best avenue to sell their products. So, and that's what you get when you come in. You have to figure out who's available and go work them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have a cool car story. You want to hear it?
Sure.
I actually have a lot of cool car stories.
Me too.
So I thought this was really cool. So in 1981, my dad was working at Cadillac in Olympia. And this was one of those years. It was before the Cimarron. It's before that crappy tiny little
when they tried to make
like a Honda
an
version
economy
of it.
Cadillac, economical,
but it wasn't
fuel-efficient
far
Cadillac.
off. Meaning it was a much smaller model Caddy. It wasn't the big boat from the 70s. And John Belushi had died this morning. So this would have been, what, March 5th, 1982?
Yeah.
Okay. Something like that. March 3rd, March 5th. It was early March 1982. And we were at my grandparents' house. And when I say we, my brother and I, down in Graham. we lived in Olympia, and my parents were out that evening with their friends. They had this monthly dinner thing that they did, and my dad had gotten cramps in his legs. I guess he'd like low iron content or something like that, so Mom was going to drive us home. So they pick us up at Grandma's house down in Graham. We get, my brother and I pile in the back seat, and this is before anybody wears seatbelts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mom decides that because she doesn't like driving at night and she doesn't like traffic, I'm going to go the back road home. When we get to McKenna, outside of Roy and Yelm, we are hit head on in a car accident, getting a head on car accident. And a drunk driver hit us head on. And fortunately for us, when I say head on, it sounds worse than it was. We were actually at a Y in the road, but it was like, it was almost like the guy drove straight up. I mean, he drove straight up into us. Instead of turning the corner on the Y, he drove right into our version of the Y. We had stopped, and he's like kablam right into us and then right into the hillside. And I was asleep, but I'll never forget actually waking up seconds before and seeing, even though with my eyes closed, seeing bright light up, through your eyes. And all of a sudden the car just, Karam just bam, and glass everywhere and screaming. And the radio, I guess what happened is when my dad was in the passenger seat of the front. I was behind him, sleeping with my butt towards the front, like I was pointed towards the back. And so when we got hit, my butt slammed into, because I didn't have a seatbelt on, slammed into his seat, which forced his face into the windshield.
Yeah.
And he had cracked the glass. It was really terrible, but he had hit his hand on the radio knob and broke it. And on the radio was Joan Jett, "I Love Rock and Roll," at like as loud as a Cadillac stereo could play. So all of a sudden this, it was insane. And it was like the world was in slow-mo. I was terrified. I didn't know what was really going on because I'd just woken up in the middle of a car accident.
Right.
Everybody's yelling, and we keep hearing this sound outside. The drunk driver had hit the barrier sort of in next to us and was stuck in it and was shooting rocks on our car.
Oh, wow.
With the rear wheels, trying to get away, just blasting the front end of our car. And my dad leans over the seat, and when he does, it's Carrie, just blood.
Yeah.
All you see is blood and two white eyes sticking through. And he's like, get out of the car, it's going to explode. He kept saying that, it's going to explode.
Right.
And then I'd open the door, and the guy's blasting us with rocks. He's like, get back in the car. I mean, it was this chaos, right?
Wow.
And then, I swear this happened, underneath "I Love Rock and Roll," I heard a voice say, "I'm going to kill you, and you are going to burn in hell forever." I kept hearing this. Yes, I swear to God, it's true. I get goosebumps thinking about it because I've never forgotten this. I heard this, like subliminal words in the song underneath it. I get out of the car. I kind of puke a little because it was cross between being scared and being in shock and all those other things. And there was 2 or 3 cars that had seen this accident, and that people that were there to help us get out of the car. And they got us all out of the car. They subdued the guy. Wait for the police. It took an hour and a half for the police to get there because we were in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So fortunately, it wasn't
these weren't cell phone days.
Right. This is 1982, man. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't. You wouldn't even had phone service in this town, let alone anything else. But this couple drove up in a truck and said, "Why don't you guys get in?" It was March. It was cold outside, and we're sitting in the car. And so they're all taking care of my dad, who's kind of still stuck in the Cadillac because he kind of got twisted up in the Cadillac. And Mom's sitting next to me, and my brother's sitting next to me, and we're all sitting in this truck at 2 a.m, cold. They got the heat on. And my brother says to me, "Did you hear that?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "I'm coming to kill you. You're going to burn in hell." He heard it too.
Fuck.
Yeah. And to this day, when I hear I love rock and roll, it scares the shit out of me. So it's like being afraid of, I don't know, whatever you're afraid of, right?
Okay.
I really heard it, Spike.
Well, you think your dad was saying it to the guy who hit you?
No.
Your dad wasn't?
No, it was coming through the speakers. I'm telling you.
It wasn't coming from the other drunk driver?
It was. We heard it. I mean, we all heard it. My mom heard it too. I mean, my brother mentioned it, and I was like, yes. And then I said it, and she said, I heard it too. I mean, we all heard it. And I guarantee you, my mom will listen to this podcast. And
your dad wasn't muttering under his breath in kind of a state of shock to the driver who just
This was a, it sounds like a movie, but it was like a scary voice. Like demonic. You know, it was really actually scary.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I've never forgotten it. I mean, clearly, I've never forgotten it. So, we went to the hospital in Olympia again an hour and a half later, and I had a broken tailbone. My brother had bruised kidneys. My mom, I think, had the same, and my dad had lacerations. But we all made it through. It was an amazing day. So when people talk about John Belushi dying, I'm like, yeah, I almost died that day too.
Wow.
So, yeah. What you got, brother?
I got nothing, man.
I mean, I encountered Satan in McKenna,
Christ, man.
in McKenna, Washington.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
I was going to talk about how cool cars are, but
no, I want to talk about that too.
Well, I mean,
it's just it's a car story. That's
I hear you. Best car you ever owned was what?
I don't want this podcast to be about me. The best car I ever owned. It has to be the very first car I ever got, and it's going to sound like I have a silver spoon, but because my dad was in the car business, my dad loved sports cars. A huge Ford guy. I don't know why, but just loved Fords. Mid-'60s Fords. Still, when he passed away, he had a 65 T-Bird. Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, it's for sale if anybody wants to buy it. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's perfect. It has 108,000 miles on it, and it's 52 years old. Wow. Yeah.
Color?
That copper gold.
Wow.
And it's original paint. I mean, original interior. It's crazy gorgeous. There's like no damage to it. It's an insane car. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, yeah.
Best car you ever owned.
Yeah. So I was born in September, and so I turned 16 in my junior year in high school. I was always weirdly behind. Yeah. And so I got to drive my mom's Buick Regal. It's a 78 green Buick Regal, which was actually kind of fun to drive around until the summer of 83. Yeah, 83. And my girlfriend, they took me downtown. It was the summer. It was like July of 83. They took me downtown with their family, and they were keeping me busy because my dad was getting me my present. It was just early. Yeah. It was going to be like 2 months early for my birthday. But it was like a post-16th birthday present, basically. And we got to the house, and Dad says, hey, I need you to do me a favor. Would you go in the garage or something? Turn on the light. It's a black 65 Mustang.
No shit. That was your first car?
That was my first car.
Wow.
Bias ply tires, glass pack mufflers.
Wow.
Badass. It was
no shit.
That was my first car. It was so badass. And dumb me, dumb me. I took really good care of it. But in the summer of 1986, I got the bug to go to Alaska to go fishing, and I needed airfare, and I didn't make enough money at Sizzler, so I sold the car for $900.
Oh boy,
$900.
Yeah.
And when I came back from fishing in Alaska, I drove by the house where the guy was at, thinking maybe I could buy it back, and it was up on jacks, and it was missing axles and wheels. He was parting the car out. Yeah. Oh. So he like abused it and raped it while I was gone.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So what did you get after the
Toyota Celica that I rolled down an embankment?
So basically, you're just the destructor.
was the destructor? That one was my fault too.
Burning the house down. I drove this one into a house.
Let's go back. Let's go back one car, though. Let's go back one car. Let's go back to that Mercury Comet in high school and my girlfriend.
Those days.
My poor girlfriend at the time who...
Is this a virginity story?
It should have been.
Okay.
Now this, I mean, that's the thing about the car. When you had a car, you had a room.
Yeah.
You had a private room. You had some place to take your girlfriend.
Yeah, you did.
You know?
It's about 4 feet long.
You know, we used to go and pick her up, take her to school every morning in the car and try to find that one spot that you could park, you know, that no one could, and just, I mean, talk about grinding in the morning before school, man. It was just brutal.
All through the jeans.
You could have scraped the interior of this car and built a human. You know, it's from this car. I mean, it was this poor girl, and I was freaking relentless. I mean, just relentless. You know,
come on, baby.
Come on, you know. And she, you know,
Come
God love her, she was into it too. God, you know, but I was just relentless.
Teen hormones.
You know, it was brutal, man. That car was just, that's what made America, you know, the teenage car, you know, make out point over the overlook, the lake, wherever you were, America, you know. Out by the cornfield where the woods got heavy, the backseat of my '60s Chevy, man. You know, we're gonna do this contest, and there's all this car songs we get to play. It's gonna be awesome. You know, that's why I was talking about cars.
I wish you guys could see Spike's face right now. He's so lit right now. His face is so happy.
Poor little. I don't even want to say her name on this podcast. God love her. She was a sweet kid, you know, and I was not. So. Her parents hated me.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was a piece of shit.
Because you were trying to just get in her pants.
Well, yeah. I mean, she was overdeveloped for her age. God love her. You know, but I was just a dog.
And this is that whole when you're 16 and she's 14 type stuff. It's always how it is.
Yeah,
like,
something like
you look
that.
Back at it, you're like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, something like that.
When you're 16,
I think we're a year
awesome.
apart age wise. You know, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
She was 15, I was 16. That kind of shit. And we went through high school together, and same girlfriend all until my senior year of high school. You know, and then she finally dumped me because I just kind of forced myself. I don't want to say, you know, I forced myself on her, but I kind of did.
Yeah.
You know.
You foisted yourself.
I foisted myself upon her, yeah.
I can see that, too.
You know, and we actually broke up over it. You know,
Really?
to her credit, yeah. I mean, you know, it wasn't like the whole nine, but, you know, I was rounding third.
Right.
On this poor girl.
And you were,
you
were really applying pressure.
Yeah.
Look, this is kind of what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is what, you know.
I'm going to keep showing up.
Yeah. You know, and she dumped me for that, and that was, God love her, good for her.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I hate to say this, other girls weren't so prudish.
Yeah.
And as soon as she dumped me, it's like, yeehaw.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you know, and they're off. And, you know, all 8 starting gates were full for me at that point.
Nice.
You know, I'm like, really? Wow, what the hell was I thinking? I wasted 3 years on a lot of prom money on this shit. Now, wow, look at that. This is crazy.
That whole sailor in every port, right?
God, brutal. Poor kid.
Oh, man.
You know, then there was then the Toyota Celica, you know, which I rolled down an embankment coming home from the ocean.
Okay.
Spent the summer at the ocean in this, you know, with this car, and I was coming home from the beach one day and took a highway cloverleaf off ramp, a little too fast, in a light rain. You know, an off ramp always just full of fuel and fluids and whatnot and oil drippings. And hit this off ramp a little too fast and kind of slid to the outside curb of this off ramp and rolled down the embankment between the cloverleaf
So
there.
you've actually been in a car that rolled.
Oh yeah, rolled this Toyota Celica down the hill.
Wow.
Yep.
Was that awesome and scary?
Too fast to remember. I mean, I remember it, but I was too fast to feel anything.
Wow.
You know, I do remember that the officer who came to the scene offered to drive me into Baltimore. So my parents could come pick me up because I was halfway between Baltimore and the beach, which is about a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
And I was kind of halfway home. And I remember reaching into this rolled over car with the wheels up in the air at the bottom of this embankment and getting my backpack and shoving an 18-inch bong into my backpack.
Wow.
And because I wasn't going to lose my bong and my car in the same day, you know, I wasn't ready for that kind of trauma.
Yeah.
You know, and clearly I wasn't thinking straight. The cop looked at me and just kind of shook his head and, okay, you know, get in the car. These are the simpler times.
Yeah.
In the days when cops would pour your shit out and send you on your way.
It's like straight out of John Wick.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
You just shot a whole bunch of people and they're like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Fine." You know, I see you're working.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home now. See you later.
Yeah.
You've seen that, right? John Wick?
No, I have not.
Dude.
I've heard that, and I'm not a Keanu fan.
Oh.
We can bounce back to movies for just a second. I am not a Keanu fan. In any way, shape, or form.
Wick.
Really?
Oh, God.
First or second one? I heard the second was good, too.
It doesn't matter.
Really?
John Wick, I'm gonna tell you here's the basic synopsis.
I understand. I've got the storyline. Is he's a hitman, and he's retired,
a retired hitman,
and somebody steals his car and kills his dog.
Yes,
and his wife dies. The dog's all he's got left, and somebody kills his dog.
Correct.
So he opens he opens a whole case of whoop ass.
Yeah, he reaches back into Texas basically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's about sort of a level of relentlessness that is unrivaled. Bless you,
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I was trying to wait for a pause to do that so you can clean it up later, but that's not going to happen.
It doesn't matter. People love your sneezes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm selling them now online. I'll sneeze an envelope for you. Send me $5. I will sneeze an envelope for you.
How
much fun would that be?
We're going to auction it off.
How much fun would that be? For charity. I'm licking envelopes and mailing them to people because my DNA is worth a lot of money.
Oh my gosh! Hey, let's do that while we're talking about this.
God.
Let's do that. No, let's do it.
I still haven't upgraded my phone, by the way. Because I haven't done shit.
It doesn't work with you.
Asking me to do shit does not work. You know that. I've skated through life on half efforts my whole life. So fuck it.
So let's see, Spike and Jazones. So our good friend Ron Harris at Roxy in Lacey, Washington, talks us up all the time. So I'm going to give Ron Harris some serious love right now as we do this podcast, because the reality, dude, is we should have him on the show with us.
What's he do?
He's our DJ down in Olympia.
Oh,
Roxy.
I saw that. Yes, he did post. Good for him.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Thank you, Ron.
He loves us. I actually went to high school with the guy. When we jump on, he really, really is super kind to us.
Nice.
Talks about us on air, not just on Facebook Live.
I can't even do that. Shit.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. That sucks. Why can't you do that? Why can't you say, hey, make it a CBS product for a day?
I don't know. I'll ask the boss about the possibility of that. I will. I'd be glad to ask, but that's...
if we do some fundraising for the company, I don't see. I mean, look, it's not. It's all about me right now.
He'll pay me $20 not to talk about it. How about that? I don't know. No, let's see if we can. So Facebook Live, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
What do you mean you don't get it? Or you just don't like it?
I don't get it. I mean, I understand what they're doing.
People love to
watch. Yeah, people watch you scratch my nose.
Look, so here's a perfect example. Okay, so that we have a fairly now it's a fairly large listenership. It's quite nice. We don't have a lot of followers on Facebook. We don't. We have a very small follower base, but we actually have a sizable local listenership and some national, which is nice. And we got guys like Byron and Mike that we talk about a lot, or Scott, right?
I imagine those three comprise 80% of our listening
probably
audience.
At this moment, at least certainly on the live right now. So we got Chris and Don watching us right now. So we got a whopping one. We got one person watch us right now. How do people know? Well, Facebook has this algorithm which lets you, if you like what we talk about, which is almost nothing, you can actually follow us. And so if they happen to be on Facebook and then we pop up on live, it'll notify them saying, hey,
these guys are
Spike
live.
and Jones is live, right?
Yeah.
The problem is we always do this at the worst time of the day. Hey, my cousin Candace is on. Hi, Candace. Love
Candace.
you. Hi, Matt. So Matt Scott. So here's an example. So Candace, my cousin, and Matt Scott, my friend out in Pennsylvania, are both rabid, avid followers of us.
Okay.
They really,
and unemployed.
And clearly, they must be, because they're online. They love us. So anyway, I've had a few people say, hey, we would love to come and see you. And I'm not volunteering you on this. I think I mentioned this briefly before we went and started to record today. But we have enough followership, listenership, whatever you want to call it now, viewership, that it's almost like people actually care.
We could fill
a small canoe.
I was going to say car, but that's cool, given the theme we were working on. We could fill a 4-door with our fan base and drive around the county doing
Chris
it.
Gardner, you suck. Boring. I love that.
Boring?
What a jerk.
Okay. What do you need me to do? How about now? I mean, really boring? What did you think you're going to see? Surgery?
See, here's the thing,
what do you want,
Chris.
a live stream surgery? What do you want to see us do, a sex act?
So here's what I was getting at is that when you're on Facebook Live, somehow you're instantly famous.
Well, what I don't get about it is it's not worth people's time.
No, it's not.
It's not. That's what I don't get. Even
it's not worth your time. Some people genuinely enjoy just seeing people they enjoy. I mean, again, let's address Mike as an example.
Yeah, I don't mean to besmirch the people who give us their time.
Right.
I'm self-deprecating what we're doing. That it's one thing when you can be on the road or sitting somewhere and have some free time and listen to us get deep six a topic. That's different.
Sure.
Than just watching us talk. If I could juggle while we talked, it might be worth your time.
Well, yeah.
If I was carving a chicken while we talked,
this isn't a live
that might
thing.
be worth your time.
That's for sure.
I don't get the live thing. I don't get to watch us talk.
Well, it's for us.
Not the angle you use right now. It's like it's up your nose.
All it is a
sinus cam.
They get the sinuses. They get they get the neck fold.
You don't have a neck fold. You're a fit and healthy man. Well, now when you do that.
Wait.
Shit, when you do that, you're fucking Shelley Winters in the Poseidon Adventure. Dude, and I hope you make it.
Hey, so Chris Gardner said...
Is this Chris Boring Gardner?
Yes, exactly. Okay. If it's good content, it can be worth it.
Okay, well, so obviously not just are we boring, we have shit content.
Yeah, we do have shit content.
I love you, buddy.
And then Candace, I'd rather have a root canal. That is awesome.
Would you rather see a root canal or have one? Then watch this. Then why are you here? That's okay. If you're gonna come in and just to bag on it, what the hell? That's why I watch. It's why I watch America's Got Talent to say no, they don't.
Yeah, this is boring. It's just going to be
the biggest
video,
freaking audio jerk off session you ever saw.
There's my caramel macchiato.
Yeah, now we have to pay Starbucks. Great.
Oh, great. Yeah,
good job.
This is my
a whole month for
this is my photography bag from my graduation gift from high school.
Seriously? You've had that long?
I've had it that long. I was really into photography when I was in high school, and my 14-year-old girlfriend gave it to me for my graduation present.
Is that in a warrant for your arrest?
She's actually now the top tax advisor at Albertsons International.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, gorgeous. Yeah.
Wow.
And then
my
our
girlfriend
amazing.
put on a lot of weight.
Hey, Candace said, just kidding. I have to give you a hard time, Rob. Well, yeah, I know you're just kidding. Chris is probably not kidding, but Chris
That's okay, Chris. We'll work harder.
Chris, I love
care.
Chris.
That's the thing about when
he's in Texas, so, everything.
When I do radio or when I do, I want people to, I'm very, I want to do well.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that people who give us their time are glad they did, that we make it worth their time. I don't know that we can do that in the form of a short form 5 to 7 minute piece of video.
No, we're not. And we're not pretty. This is not interesting at all.
It ain't attractive.
No, this is not interesting. It's not. It's
so
not.
What the fuck are we doing?
We do it. We do it because I'm a narcissist, and I want to make sure.
You are?
Yeah.
Please.
I want to make sure.
Remember when I told you I wanted to be loved a minute ago? Come on.
Well, there's that.
God.
I want to make sure that the 3 people that are currently watching this. So what's the point of this content today? Exactly, Chris. There is no point. I love it.
We didn't knock on your door, did we? We kind of did knock on their door with an update from Facebook saying, "Hey, we're here."
The point of this content, Chris, is that we have a podcast, and that once in a while we actually get somebody who watches it, who then says, "Hey, I really want to listen to that podcast," and if it can help gain us listenership, that's all we really care about. Because video content is clearly not our bag, and if you look at Spike and look at me. We ain't pretty.
It's radio.
So
it's podcasting at best.
Yeah, and then James Harmon is on. Tim Forsander. So Tim was a bass player in an awesome band I was in here in the Seattle area. So do you remember the Cunninghams?
Yes.
Tim was the bass player.
I do.
In the Cunninghams.
I remember the Cunninghams.
And so
I was going to say, Mr. C, Mrs. C, Richie, Joni,
Chuck. That's not funny. That's not funny.
That's awful.
That's not.
Marion. Howard, right? It was Howard. Chuck was the one who went. Chuck went to Nam.
Yeah.
Chuck went to Nam.
With his basketball.
Shot his whole platoon. Nobody knows that. That's what happened to Chuck on Happy Days. Went to Nam.
Oh, hey, look. Chris responded with, yes, you did. You guys definitely have radio faces.
I know. Okay. Well,
you should see Chris. He's a handsome guy.
What does Chris do?
Less podcasts, more drums.
Maybe the point of this is to promote Chris's business.
Nice.
Maybe Chris is in human trafficking, and we can help him.
Actually, Chris has an incredible business.
Yeah,
we can help you, Chris.
Is this Chris back in Pennsylvania or Chris in Texas?
This is Chris in Texas. Chris, when you come up here, we'll have you on the show.
Does Chris dig drug tunnels? Because business is going to be booming in a couple of years, man. No. If you're a drug tunnel digger in Texas, you want the wall. Chris, you need that wall.
Oh man, you want me on that.
You want that wall. You need that wall.
Chris is is in investments in life insurance.
Lieutenant Taffy. Oh,
God.
I love that shit, man.
This has really gone off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So since this officially sucks,
no, just because Chris says it sucks. No.
I'm not saying that it sucks because Chris says it sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm going to drop this puppy down.
Okay. Thanks for trying, everyone.
No, Chris says now this is funny. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Chris wants us to be in an abusive relationship with him. That's what Chris wants.
The Spike and Jones podcast is graciously sponsored by Justin Richards, founder and principal at Team Richards Realty Group in Bellevue, Washington. When the average agent you meet on the street sells fewer than 4 homes a year, experience matters. Justin and his team rely on more than 30 years combined experience, multiple financial market up and down swings, and hundreds of properties sold when advising their clients on their next sound investment or pricing a home for sale. Their goal is always very simple. Achieve the best home price results in a time frame that suits your needs, all with the least amount of stress to you as a buyer or seller. For more information, visit teamrichardsrealty.com. That's TEAMRICHARDSREALTY.com or call Justin Richards at 425-765-8088. And now, on with the podcast. So we didn't talk about, so we got to get back to cars here.
We do, as we should. We talked about, your first car. We talked about having the car as a mobile motel room, which I tried to make my car into.
Yeah, mobile brothel.
Well, I wasn't, nobody else was coming in. I wasn't like I was opening the back door for money bringer, and it wasn't that. But, what's the stupidest thing you ever did in a car? I got tons of them, buddy. I got tons.
Okay.
One night I was driving home from the bar at 2:30 in the morning, drunk off my ass in a convertible, and I drove my car like the SS Minnow. I mean, I stood up in my driver's seat with my arm above the steering wheel, the windshield.
Really?
And steered, and steered.
How? How did you do that?
I put my left foot into my seat. Okay. And my right foot was running the pedals. Oh. And I had my arm up on top of the windshield for stability and used my hand on the steering wheel like it was the wheel of a boat.
Wow.
And I rode for literally 20 miles through downtown Baltimore at 2:30 in the morning.
Like saluting
Like I was
people?
the fucking skipper of the Minnow in a black LeBaron convertible. That's how fucked up I was. It's 1985. I mean, I was hammered driving home in that thing. That's Night Spike should have been in jail. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we got to do next.
That's next week. We'll do that next week. Nights I should have been in jail and didn't. I got out of a car one day.
About the time I went to jail. I really don't
I don't either. And I've got those too.
Yeah.
So I might have told you this before, but I had a buddy who drove the Country Squire wagon. With the wood panel, fake size.
Yeah. Was it blue with the wood?
It was green actually with the wood panels. And I may have told you this, but Tony was at the time we were doing a lot of recreational drugging, and we wanted to do a little skiing on the way home in the car. And Tony all the skis were all the mountain was in Tony's pocket. Okay, and Tony wouldn't pull over.
What are you talking about?
Tony wouldn't pull over to make it snow in the backseat of the station wagon. Right. So my friend Billy, and I think I did tell you this, my friend Billy rolled down the window of his car of the Country Squire and climbed onto the roof at 50 mile an hour. And so I rolled down my window and climbed out too.
Drugs are bad.
And
kid.
we are standing on the roof of a station wagon doing 50 mile an hour, and we're surfing on this car.
How are you alive?
As Tony's yelling, "Get in!" We're like, "Nope, better pull over, Tony. Better pull over." And Tony starts to slow down because he can't just hit the brakes. We'll go rolling.
Right.
But Tony wants us in the car. Get in! Nope, better pull over. Cop's going to see us. Boy, that's going to be a tough story to sell. But what are you going to tell the cop? Tell him that there's a guy standing on the roof of your car while you're driving down the freeway. And we literally surfed this Country Squire wagon until Tony rolled to a nice, safe, slow stop in the curb lane. You gonna make it snow? Yeah, all right, you motherfucker.
Wow.
And we, next thing you know, Tony's throwing them out, and we're driving home, safe as an arrow.
Happy
as clams. That's the shit we did in cars. We did some stupid shit in cars, man.
I don't know how.
Not even the wrecking them stuff, but driving drunk shit.
Yeah,
dude. I drove a Mercedes. I had a Mercedes one time, trade in. This one I was selling cars, so it wasn't even that my dad, threw it to me, but I was selling cars, and somebody traded in a 1971 four-door Mercedes 250 sedan in like forest green with a black leather interior, and the thing ran like a top. So I gave the guy nothing for it in a trade-in, because and I bought it from the dealership, and that became my car. And that thing was a little KGB staff car, man. That car was cool. right? And I'm driving around one day and I'm smelling gas. What the hell? Smelling gas. What the hell? Pop open the hood and my fuel line had sprung a leak and was just spraying gas.
Really?
All over a hot engine.
Incredibly well made.
But I mean, car would have been about 12, 14 years old at that point. Mid 80s before I left for Florida, and I'm just driving around just spitting gas all over this hot engine. I cannot believe that car didn't blow up on me.
Yeah,
know.
Yeah.
Stupid shit.
Yeah. No, I don't know how we. Well, I was never a big risk taker. I mean, I've taken some risks, and when I've taken them, they've been giant.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Brother. But I don't know how guys survive. I mean, all the stories you have. I mean, geez, man.
That was stupid.
I almost wish I had burned the house down just so I could
no,
tell
you
people.
Don't.
Let's see. Weirdest experience in a car. I mean, I've had a lot of sort of small-ish sort of experiences. Again, nothing really fancy, but my best friend Steve in high school had a 68 Cadillac. He called the Iron Lung.
Okay, I love it.
It was that green, that funky silver green color of theirs. And
in mint metallic green?
There it is, that mint metallic green. and so the summer of 83 or 84, right around the 4th of July, we drove over to the Nisqually Delta before you could go, before casinos, right?
Okay.
But there was Indian reservations, and that's where you would go buy illegal fireworks.
Okay.
And we bought a whole bunch of M80s. We bought bricks of, firecrackers and whatnot, and bottle rockets, and then we drove back to Olympia. And at the time, I lived on the fringes of one of those super future communities. Yeah, what do they call them? Street of Dreams?
Yeah.
And I didn't live on the Street of Dreams, but just down the hill from where we lived were all these empty cul-de-sacs that were going to eventually become Street of Dreams homes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. But that meant there were empty cul-de-sacs, which meant there were places to do all sorts of righteous, dangerous things. Peeling out, having parties, having bonfires, etc.
Sure.
But what Steve and I decided to do was light his car on fire. So...
Light his car on fire?
Well...
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally.
Oh, okay.
We had all those, and so we set the M80 on the top of the car and lit it on the top of the car to see if it would damage the car.
Okay. It's a Cadillac, so it didn't.
It didn't. It was amazing. It just blew up. It didn't blow down. Yeah. But then we started putting it into the slats of the air vents in the car, which of course does damage. Yeah. Right. And then we decided that it would be really fun to light the brick of 5,000 firecrackers in the trunk and then close the trunk.
Holy shit, dude. That's where they keep the gas tank,
I know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just sure make sure you knew.
So we light it on fire, and this is the guy, I think I shared this with you, but he's the guy who eventually took his own life years later in the military. Yeah. But he was my best friend, and I just kind of went with it, right? Because he was the one guy who would hang out with me, basically. Sure. I mean, I was really, really extroverted with about 5 of my friends and scared shitless of everybody else.
Okay.
I've never been cool.
Okay.
I'll never be cool.
I know.
And thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks for the...
I got to take the easy ones. Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, we lit it on fire, closed the trunk. And then boom, 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 boom. Right? Like lighting them and stuffing them in a trash can. Yeah. Super loud. Steve is laughing, his eyes are watering, and then smoke is coming out, and we just think it's smoke from the firecrackers. Sure. So we open it up, and the inside of his trunk is on fire.
Right.
Along with his mom's brand new tennis shoes, all the stuff basically in the trunk.
Yeah.
So there's really not much to the story outside of to say that we kind of tried to burn, the neighborhood. Yeah. We got in the car and drove it really fast and hoping the wind would blow it out.
Because wind and oxygen and fire don't go together.
No, absolutely.
Did that work?
It actually did put it out, which is amazing.
You are lucky little son of bitches.
Yeah. We just drove it around really fast and laughing the whole time as the trunk is flopping or open, steaming. And then to cap it off, we drive up this dirt road, which we start stump jumping with the car. We get the car a little stuck, and before we get the car unstuck, Steve comes out. I mean, he's crazy when you look back at it.
Okay.
He gets out of the car and keys the side of his car, iron lung on the side of the car. I mean, whatever the word is, somebody who's on the verge of losing their mind.
Okay, yeah.
That was Steve. He was always on the edge of falling apart completely.
Wow.
And then he eventually did. But great memories with him regardless, listening to In Excess in his car. It's the one thing,
Like Don't Change, my favorite In Excess song.
Yes.
Don't Change.
Yes.
I can remember, I think I may have told you this. I hate saying that as I say that too much. I think I may have told you this already.
You do. You do say that a lot.
I do say that a lot because I go back. We've talked, quite a bit now, and there's some of my best stories I think I've already given you. But I remember falling in love with music in a car because driving around as being babysat by teenage aunts and uncles, they were stuck with my brother and I on a Saturday night, so we were going out with their friends.
Yeah.
We would hear the Moody Blues and Alice Cooper and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith and Foghat.
Aerosmith was my jam.
These bands in a car, in the back of a car, listening to the Moody Blues and Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
That's where you fall in love with music is a car. That's where you get to pick.
Yeah.
It's subject to anybody else's taste but your own, man.
Yeah.
Best car song to listen to in a car. What's the best music to listen to for you?
Well, mine, I wouldn't call it the best car song, but it's the one that...
that's not what I would call it either. But if you're in a car, what's the best music to listen to while you drive?
Oh, that's lame.
Is it lame?
Mine is.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. Not the question. Thank you. So you just told me to go fuck off.
No.
Good. What do you like?
I listen to really obscure, like hard rock.
Really? In a car? Okay.
Yeah, or I listen to jazz. I know.
No, it's interesting. No, jazz is meandering. No, I mean, not a cool story either, but I like listening to. Oh, I got to take this call.
Okay. Ring. So I was thinking, one of the things I love about cars is driving. I love to drive. Mm-hmm. I mean, stupidly love to drive.
To drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. I can dig driving on road trips.
So do you have a favorite road? Not so much a road trip. I mean, we can talk about that too, but do you have a road that you've driven you had this spectacular experience driving the perfect car on the perfect day with the perfect girl, you know what I mean? That whole thing.
I can't say that I do because I own a motorcycle.
Okay.
And once you get on a motorcycle and take the perfect road, I could tell you a half dozen roads I'd like to ride on.
Sure.
But in a car, you're in a cage. It doesn't matter. I mean, we were talking about music you love in a car. I love like Sinatra and Elvis in a car. Mm. That's where I can put Sinatra on in a car and I don't care what I'm driving. It's a good road.
Yeah.
It's a good car. I mean, I put the Sport Family Truckster out there on the road. If I got Sinatra on the stereo, it doesn't matter where I'm sitting or what I'm driving on. It's a good ride.
Yeah.
Music can fix everything.
You're just a kid when you hear Sinatra,
your car sounds like
right?
shit. Yeah,
Boom.
well,
all of a sudden you're like, the romance of hearing Sinatra, right?
Yeah, I mean, he is America, and that cars are America. I think it's a perfect mix.
Yeah.
Same thing with Elvis for me, Bruce too. I told you that's the holy trinity of American music for me.
Yeah.
Sinatra, Elvis, and Springsteen. I love views. I love driving through Eastern Washington.
I do too.
Love seeing the canyons of Eastern Washington. I don't mind the rolling hills of the Palouse, or I guess that's what the farm country of Eastern Washington. I don't mind that. It gets a little redundant for me, but I love canyons. Yeah. I love Sun Lakes and Soap Lakes over there. That area.
Yeah.
I mean, I can ride along those
falls,
things.
All that stuff.
My
God,
it's
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's better on a motorcycle, but it's fun in a car.
Yeah.
Worst mistake I ever made was driving out to Key West. What a stupid decision that way. No, we were in Florida seeing my folks. Okay. My brother and I decided to, pop across the Alligator Alley from the Gulf Coast to the East Coast and then kick out to Key West. Well, Key West is nice, but it ain't worth the 4.5 hours it takes to get out and back on that road.
Out and back? I thought it would 4 hours just to get there.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
It's just like, Jesus. Okay, I get it. It's a bridge. There's water. I get it. Still a bridge, still water.
I think this is where they
still
blew up the bridge.
What's it called? The Schwarzenegger, True Lies.
True Lies thing.
Great, yeah, I know, right?
That's funny. We both thinking the same.
Well, it was, and I can tell you, I was on that bridge going, "Is this the part they blew up?" I like to blow this fucking part up right now. Tell you what, that might make this interesting. And Key West was fun, but it wasn't worth the drive out and back. That was a mistake. I like road trips, like long road trips. I mean, for us, cars meant getting away. There's the old man would throw us in the car before sunrise and drive to the beach, and we'd spend the day at the beach and then drive. But getting in the car meant something different. This is going to be different.
Yeah.
That's
funny. I spent a significant part of my formative years. So basically from 7 to 15 in Eastern Washington, in different towns.
Yeah.
There are no cities over there. There's still Spokane
towns.
Still is a town,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And but every Sunday, so my dad worked 6 days a week basically. So usually Sundays were the only day off. And if we weren't, especially if it wasn't summer, if we weren't going to Lake Chelan, which is what we did almost every weekend, we were driving. Right. And usually it meant leaving church because we always had to go to church,
right?
Which wasn't always pleasant. But it usually meant, okay, now we pile in the car, and for some reason we wouldn't get food, so we'd be just starving.
Yeah.
But my parents would just, we're going to drive to Curlew. You know what? Where's
why?
That? Well, but the thing is
that where the bunker is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's where one of the tunnels come from British Columbia for all the pot. It's so funny. It's such a beautiful area, but when you're 14, you're like, I just want to go home. And at that time, I just wanted to go home and play drums. I just wanted to play my kit or listen to Kansas or whatever. I wanted to do something that wasn't the car. But it was programmed into me, and between my father's insane love for automobiles and just being stuck in a car almost every Sunday, I kind of fell in love with the idea of the road trip.
Yeah.
So in 2005, I had some extra coin, and I decided I'm going to buy a cool car, at least for me. And I went online, and I found an Audi in Chicago. And I bought this car, sight unseen, which was probably pretty damn foolish.
Well, at that point it was. These days it's a lot easier.
Yeah. And it turned out that this car was, so the kid that was selling it, his father was a Iranian consulate in Chicago.
Wow.
And so he was a kid who'd been used to, he was 19 years old. He's driving an Audi A6, you know what I mean? He was used to driving cool cars. And he's like, I want to get rid of this car. I want to buy a Corvette. My dad's going to pay for the rest, pay for the remainder. So he sold me this car for $12,000.
Wow.
And I was like, couple years old.
Yeah.
I mean, here in town, it was $35,000 still.
Yeah.
I looked. It was like 35. He's like, I'll sell it for 12. I was like, well, I will see you in a week.
Did you at least get the blood out of it?
Yeah. So I ended up getting a one-way ticket to Chicago. He picked me up at the airport. I drove him to Chase Bank. I gave him $12,000 in cash. Went and visited my friends in Chicago. We went and rode roller coasters for the evening. Then went to Outback Steakhouse. It was killer. It was just this killer experience. And then I drove home across the northern part of the country for the next 3 days.
Wow.
I stopped at amusement parks. I visited friends. And even though I was by myself, it's my single favorite trip I've ever done.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, one day, I woke up on the eastern side of South Dakota near Mitchell. So I was on Highway I-90. I want to say it's Mitchell. Pretty sure it's Mitchell. Anyway, got in the car, and I don't know anything about South Dakota. I've never been in South Dakota. I'm driving along, and I see a sign that says Badlands, and I'm like, oh, this is where the Badlands are. And so I decided to go and check it out, and I drove through the Badlands. So, I took this detour. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. What music? That's where you got to have.
I had the Tea Party. Do you know who the Tea Party is?
Canadian band, you bet.
Yeah,
you bet.
yeah. So I had the Tea Party playing.
Okay.
Well, why would I remember that? Yeah. But I did. I had the Tea Party playing Alhambra and all that stuff. His weird Jim Morrison goes to Islamabad.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
Anyway, drove through the Badlands, and then got back on I-90, and I'm heading, and then I'm like, I see a sign that says Wall Drug store.
The world famous Wall Drug. You bet.
So I check that out, and then I see a sign that says Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Now this is in the same day.
Nice.
Okay. I'm like, I gotta do that. Yeah. So I drive down. Takes forever because they're doing construction.
Right.
I get down to Mount Rushmore, and I'm like, huh.
I know, right?
I thought it would be bigger. It's so small.
I know.
It's so shockingly small.
Everybody's like, holy shit, that's it?
Yeah.
I know.
It's like the Statue of Liberty. You're like, seriously?
No, see, that one did not disappoint
really?
for me.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Statue of Liberty.
Well, I haven't been at the base, but I've seen it from a distance, and I'm like,
No, yeah, but you got to go to the island. Got to go to the island.
Okay. So
yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to go up because when we went to Statue of Liberty, you had to book an appointment ahead of time.
Oh.
Like weeks in advance.
That wasn't the construction
Took the
period,
family.
was it?
No. Took the family to New York. Wanted to go to Statue of Liberty. Could get to the island, but we couldn't get up inside.
Really?
I'd have an appointment, and they were booked weeks in advance. I was genuinely disappointed in that.
Yeah, I
Never
would be
been
too
there.
because I want to.
I like to walk up and see the plaques and get up in the head. And
Yeah, I want to go up in the torch if they let you still.
So. Good.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, is that okay? If
No, of course.
So, I get there and I'm like, well, this sucks. And all the parking, there's nowhere to park. You have to either go in the park or you can't park here.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't want to stop people from taking photos and then traffic jams, and they want to get your money.
Sure.
Right? So I drive around the side. I get that weird profile shot of Washington. I'm like, okay. So I drive back up to I-90, and then I'm like, I wonder, is there a back way to get to Devil's Tower?
Okay.
And sure enough, there is. You drive through this little town called Aladdin, of which there are, I believe, 15 people. I believe the sign says Aladdin, 15 people.
Population 15?
I'm pretty sure. I took a photo of it.
And one genie.
And then, so you wind down. I'm like, man, where's this Devil's Tower? Devil's Tower sucks. It's probably going to be like, the other places. Everything is small. And then all of a sudden, boom. It's huge.
Yeah, you're at the base.
Yeah, it's like a giant stump of granite, you know, just like kablam. It's there. And it was somehow scary to me, I don't know, Close Encounters, excuse me.
Genius movie.
So I get back down to I-90. So now it's like, I don't know, by now it's like 6 p.m. I mean, I started at 6 a.m. So I've been on the road for 12 hours. I've seen a ton of stuff.
Right.
And I'm in Wyoming now, so I just want to get to Montana. If I can just get to Montana. No, check this out. It gets worse.
Okay. Oh, really?
If I can just get to Montana tonight, I'm going to crash out. It'll be fine. And I'm heading up through Wyoming, and the sun is getting pretty low on the horizon. And I stop at Subway. I got to get some food. So I eat Subway. And then I realized, I'm just at the border. So maybe I can make it a little farther. So I think I'll stop. I don't know any towns But anyway, I'm driving along. And then this is where I-90 meets I-94. And that's where Crow Agency is, where Battle of Little Bighorn was.
Okay.
And it's 8 o'clock. And I'm like, I got just enough time. Maybe I can sneak in and check it out, right? I drive up. They had just closed the national park because it's a national park.
Yeah.
They just closed the gate. But you could walk on. So I just parked outside, and there was nobody there, so I didn't have to pay.
Right.
And I just walked right in, and I walked up. Have you been there? It's the single most haunting place I've ever been in my life.
Really?
You can feel the death. I swear to God, you can feel the death in the air. It's like it's still there.
Oh, wow.
Like there should be bodies on the ground all over the. I mean, you can just feel it.
Gettysburg gave me that.
Yeah, it's exactly that thing. And so I walk up the hill, and there's a monument at the top, and then there's all the grave markers where Custer and all the various gentlemen died, and then over here there's markers for where the natives died, and then there's a native memorial, and I check that out, and then I see this one single standalone that says like Chief Standing Bear or whatever died here for the Cheyenne way of life, and I just started crying.
Wow.
I couldn't. I mean, I cried for like a half hour.
Wow.
I just stood there and cried and
Damn.
cried and cried and cried. And meanwhile, the sun's going down.
Neat.
Right? And it was just such an emotional and intense experience. I mean, I would tell everybody, go to where the battle was, Battle of Little Bighorn. It's an incredible place. Anyway, I get in the car. I'm burned, I'm fried, and I'm in the middle of nowhere in Montana. Yeah. I'm like, I got to get to the next town. So I'm driving to, it's Montana's like freaking Texas.
Yeah,
it's ginormous.
It goes and goes and goes and goes.
And so it takes me forever, and I get to like one of the gateway towns to go to Yellowstone because, you go south,
Yeah.
I can't remember which town it was, maybe Bozeman.
Okay.
And I'm like, all I see are all the hotels. I'm like, oh, thank God, right? I drive into the hotel, and the guy goes, oh, no, sir, we're full. He goes, it's the summer. I mean, this is the gateway to Yellowstone. Yeah. You're not going to get it. And I go, what do you mean I'm not going to get it? He goes, no, we're all full. I mean, all of us. We have
I can tell you where to get a room if we don't have any, and nobody's got a room.
Yeah, I mean, all the hotel people are in the community. We all know, right? We all know.
No, I know what
like
you
I
did.
can call Bill and say, "Hey, got a room on the fourth floor."
Yeah,
right?
I know what you did.
And he goes, "You just not gonna have anything. You're gonna have to drive to Helena." And I go, Helena, that's like 5 hours from here.
Right.
And we're talking, dude, it's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I go, I can't do that.
I'll die.
You'll
die. You'll fall asleep.
I'll fall asleep. And he goes, well, I mean, he goes, I'll call ahead for you. And so he did. He called ahead, and this guy goes, you know, and you can hear in the background. He goes, oh, I got 2 rooms. They're smoking. Is that okay? And I'm like, I don't care. No,
I don't care if they're on fire.
I have no exactly. I have no idea how far this place is away.
Dude.
So I thought, okay, I'm by myself. I'm not going to kill my family. I'm going to try. I get on the freeway, and they were doing construction. Sorry for the long story, but they're doing construction in I-90 in this section. They had completely torn out one whole side of it. So freeway is 2 lanes, one lane going this way, one lane going this way, with those plastic things down the middle.
Yeah.
I fell asleep because I was so tired.
Yeah.
I'd been driving 15 hours.
Yeah.
And I fell asleep. And I hit those things. It knocked my brand new car. It knocked the side view mirror off.
Yeah.
It's like woke me up.
Yeah.
And saved my life, really.
Yeah.
Because now I was like,
yeah, no, I hear you.
You know, I was awake. I drove all the way to Helena. All the way over the pass, the whole thing.
Jesus.
And when I got there into town, I don't remember what time it was, 3 or 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that. And the guy, the hotel guy, was literally waiting, literally sitting there. He goes, all the rooms are gone, but I got the one room. This is exactly what happened. He gives me the room key. It's that one up there. See you later. Walks out and leaves. I go up to the hotel room somehow.
Right.
Open the door. It's like 130 degrees in the room because the AC hasn't been on all day, and it was the summertime, and it's Montana, right?
Right.
I go and I turn on the AC unit. I go in and jump in the shower. The bathtub starts filling up because the drain's clogged. So I'm grossed out instantly. So I get out of the shower. I go out, and the room's not cold. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I reach up. It's warm air coming out. I can't call him because he's gone. There's no other place for me to stay. So I take my clothes off. I open the door. I'm on the top of the end. So I don't care. I don't care who sees my wiener. I laid on top of that bed, completely naked in a 130-degree room at 5 in the morning. Got up 3 hours later and drove to Seattle.
Wow.
And you know what? Best experience of my life. I love that. I love that so much. I had so much fun. It was just it was like me against the world.
Yeah,
man. You know, but
yeah.
just all this stupid stuff. But I did, I think it was 19 hours and like 873 miles, something crazy.
I got one of those kind of. I had moved to Florida.
Yeah.
Summer of '86, or in all of 1986, I should say. I moved there in the fall of '86, and spent a year in Florida, and I spent '87 in Florida is when it was. So while I was living in Florida, remember the convertible I told you I used to drive like the SS Minnow? While I was down there, it got repossessed.
Of course it did.
Because I I've got a repo. I had a repo. It's gone. But I felt like 2 months behind.
That's it.
And I'd left the state.
That's it.
I'd left the state.
Oh.
I come out of work and my car got stolen. And no, it didn't. Yeah, well, great. So I'm living in Florida without a car for a while.
Were you on probation or something?
No.
Okay, because you say left the state. My brain goes.
No, I mean I moved from Maryland to Florida, but my loan was in Maryland. And if you leave the state and stop making your car payments,
you've
getting settled,
your payment.
While I was getting settled, and I'm starting a new job and fell 2 months behind, and they came and took the car back. So I'm living in Florida without a car, and then it was it was tenant bar down there, and I got in the car. That's where I got into the car business. As my dad said, you can come to work, but go start somewhere else and then come work for me. Learn somewhere else. And it was time to move back to Maryland. I'd done my Florida thing. It got to the point of being in Florida where I felt like I was punishing myself, not being in Baltimore. I moved because of a broken heart, so I was over that shit. I needed my friends.
I remember this story. Yeah, that's a good one.
I bought a Chevy Chevette.
Oh, yeah, the Chevy's version of the Honda Civic, the Honda 1000 or whatever they call it.
That little hatchback thingy.
Yeah.
Fucking mustard yellow, piece of shit.
Dangerous.
$100 car. I mean, $100 car.
Yeah. You get hit with that, you die.
It was a trade-in, right? And it was cheaper than renting a truck to bring my stuff back to Baltimore. Right. So I literally buy this $100 Chevy Chevette and load my crap in it and drive it back to Baltimore. And at the Georgia-South Carolina line, got a flat tire in the Chevy Chevette.
Son, you ain't from around here.
Well, no, I had a spare, but I'm on the side of the freeway, and the Chevy shit, the Chevette's spare is under the back hatchback. So I had to literally take everything I own out of the car and put it on the side of the road.
Was it raining?
No, it wasn't raining.
Oh, that would have been better.
It wasn't raining. It was hot and sunny, and there was a chain gang working the median. I mean, literally, there was the man with no eyes with a shotgun at the end of him. Wow. And they were all swinging their little, working. And I'm on the side of the road pulling out like a TV and all my clothes and a Foot Locker, to change the tire, put a donut spare on this car. Yeah. And then since the front was the flat, I had to take a rear tire off and put it on the front and put that little donut spare on the back.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want to drive with that donut spare.
Right, you want to pull that donut around. You don't want to steer with it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go and, go find a tire in South Carolina. And after, a couple hours of go find a tire, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to drive home. And I literally pushed this thing home.
You drove home with the donut?
From the South Carolina-Georgia border to Baltimore.
How did it not explode?
Through South Carolina, through Virginia.
Yeah. No, North Carolina.
Through South Carolina, through North Carolina, through Virginia, into Maryland.
Yeah.
Past the sunset. I mean, did it in one day. It's a one-day run from Florida to Baltimore in a Chevy Chevette with a donut spare. It got to the point where this car was so bad, I literally put a brick on the gas pedal because I would pass people going downhill.
Yeah.
And they would pass me going uphill. I would pass them again, the same people, over and over.
80 horsepower.
Yeah. I mean, it was a 4-cylinder, nothing engine. Yeah. And I'd be going downhill and uphill.
Right.
40 mile uphill, 85 mile an hour downhill, 40 mile uphill. And I would pass and loop the same people over and over. And because after a while, they're pointing at me like, what the fuck? My piece of shit yellow Chevette. Made it all the way back to Baltimore in that car in one day and abandoned it in Baltimore. Drove it to a crash. I never titled it.
Oh, okay.
I had a paper plate on the back, temporary plate.
Are you serious?
From the dealership. Yeah, you bet.
That's awesome.
Just got a paper.
Did you drive it into like a
bad neighborhood, pulled the tag off, and left it?
Oh, really?
You bet. I abandoned that thing, man. I'm not kidding.
Man.
Let the city have it.
I would have taken it to a rock quarry and
just pushed it off.
Just check it out.
With my luck, it would have been I'd had to pay to get it removed or some shit. I just left it behind. No paperwork, no nothing.
Wow.
Either got $100 cash, drove from Florida to Baltimore, and bailed on it.
That's awesome.
That was a shit show.
I don't think I've ever had a car like. I take it back. I've owned some pretty crappy cars. I've owned an AMC Eagle station wagon. I paid $100 for it. I was in the Navy, and I had transferred out here, and I needed a second car, and it was just a dog crap car. Oh, it's the worst. It was the worst. It was a tank, though. I mean, you could kick it.
You
could kick it, and it wouldn't dent. Wow. I mean, it was just. I kicked it.
Wow.
Hard.
Yeah.
Had a whistle. It had I don't know. The head gasket was busted on it, so it'd whistle.
Yeah.
When you drove. So it sucked. But $100, for what it was.
$100.
I had a Mazda RX-4 that my dad picked me up, and that car was a blast, but it lasted only a few months because I drove it. I mean, I'd rev it up because it's a rotary engine.
Yeah.
So I'd rev it up to like 9,000 RPMs because. You
could.
You could. They liked it. And the car would just whine, but it was so much fun to drive, and it backfired all the time, but it only lasted a few months, and it caught on fire.
I had a Renault Le Car that you had to go through the sunroof to get in.
You had a Le Car.
A Le Car.
That's awesome.
To get into, and you had the door was busted, so once you got it closed, it wouldn't stay closed.
Oh, man.
So if you got it closed, you leave it closed. And I had to climb through the sunroof to get into it and go.
Really?
And after a while, at the end of that car's run, I had to park it on a hill to drift start it every day because it was a clutch.
Just run.
And the starter wouldn't work, and I'd just literally roll it downhill. I'd park on a nice hill, next to a driveway, so somebody could block me in.
Yeah.
push it out, get it going downhill, and jump that puppy every day. Every day.
Oh, man.
Piece of shit, man.
I love that kind of stuff. I love those experiences.
My mom's car, the car I wish we had, there's always that one car you shouldn't let go. I imagine you have to be the 65.
Oh, it's the worst thing I've ever done.
My mom had a 1971 Austin Healy 3000 Mark IV.
Ooh.
A Healy, little Healy, you know. And that car was just gorgeous.
My mom would like that car.
When my youngest brother was born, my mom sold that car. My folks needed the money, and they told us at the time, well, your mom can drive while she's pregnant. So, but they
that because women can't do things when they're pregnant.
Well, but it was a little sports. It was the wrong car for a pregnant woman.
I know. Your mom can't drive it. She's pregnant.
Well, that's that's what they told us. They didn't want to tell us they had to sell the cars. They needed the money.
Yeah.
Folks spared us that. But every time I see a Healy.
Yeah.
My mom used to have one of those. God, she loved that.
What color was it? Was that British green?
It was British racing green, but they painted it red. My mom wanted it red. I know. It was that British racing green.
Yeah, that's that classic color.
Dude, I saw one not too long ago that was what's the color I'm looking for? It was that light metallic blue.
Yeah.
I saw
like that sky blue.
Yeah,
but it was like Audi makes.
Yeah, but it was
BMW.
but it was a metallic blue and it was gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
with a white side panel on it.
I want a Caterham.
It's just gorgeous.
What kind of car do you want? I mean, there's a lot of cars I would like to have. Mm-hmm. I really, I love driving, so I love high performance cars. Mm-hmm. I mean, who doesn't like the Ferraris and all that stuff?
Right.
But I mean, I want something I can daily drive.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand why people buy, say, Porsche Turbos because they are sort of high performance, but daily driver cars.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to buy something that's kind of off and oddball, what would you pick up?
If I could drive everything I want to without going stupid.
Yeah, without spending $1 million. I
like those new Caddies.
Oh,
I really do.
Like the V's?
Yeah.
The CTS?
Yeah.
Those are great cars.
Those are good-looking cars. They look like they're well-made, fun to drive,
great.
Sound great. I'd love to drive one of those around. I really would.
Yeah, you can buy the last generation of CTS and the V cars. The V cars are the ones you want because they have the 500 horsepower. They have the Corvette engines and
right.
You can buy them for like $30,000. Yeah. And I mean that's a lot of money.
I hear, but it's a lot of car.
It's a lot of car. It's a lot of car.
I've never had a taste on it. I never wanted a Beamer.
Yeah,
never done.
Well, there's so many in this area. I've lost all taste for German
Yeah,
cars here.
I like the look of the new Mercedes. Those are good-looking little cars.
The front end is great. They've got the old school front end on them now, the squared off.
Right. That's a good-looking car.
The big. They call them chidings.
What?
Did you know that? The
triangle?
Mercedes. The Mercedes.
Really? They call it what?
The chiding.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's because that's the sound. It's the onomatopoeia. You see it and it goes chiding.
Oh, interesting.
Right, like the sound of the light glistening off it, like the tooth.
Nice.
I want a Caterham.
What's a Caterham?
A Caterham is a British, like a 2-seat. It's got the really long front end. Imagine a 60s Jaguar.
I was saying an old
car.
Jag, yeah.
But the Caterhams, it's squared off. You'll have to look it up, and I believe it's called the Series 7. But they are
a new car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're expensive as hell.
Oh, sure.
$140,000.
Yeah.
But they've got like 350 horsepower.
Wow.
But they weigh like 1,700 pounds. They weigh less than a ton. So they are stupidly fast, stupidly aggressive. They can do anything.
Wow.
And I want one really, really bad.
My buddy had one of those old Jags that the roof, the hood, the whole front end came off it.
Right.
Not just the hood came up, the whole front end came up, and it came up backwards away from the windshield.
Did it?
No.
No, I thought you were telling me when it drove.
No, when you opened it up, you had to open up the whole front. We literally lifted the whole front end off this car to get to this long engine, this long Jaguar engine.
Yes.
He had actually done some concrete work for a friend, and they gave him that car to pay for the wall he rebuilt on their property.
That's a Caterham.
Oh yeah,
look at that.
That's pretty cool.
And you guys can't hear it or see it, excuse me, but it's the Model 7.
That's a pretty cool
car. I want that, and I like that blue color, that dark blue.
That's pretty good.
You guys have to go online and check that out.
So now, as we wrap this up, I think as time's becoming an issue.
We should have wrapped this up about 10 minutes in.
That's okay. Well, no,
dog shit podcast today.
Is it really? I feel bad for you having to harvest this shit.
Oh well,
was this a bad topic? You think?
No. It was just.
We were all over the road.
We were all over the place today, and truthfully, I'm going to blame me for saying that I should not have jumped in on the Facebook Live stuff because we lost our mojo when we did it.
That's okay.
But you know what the funny thing is every time, I'm telling you this is true, Spike, every time we do these, I shouldn't say every time, but when we do some of them, and you and I both maybe don't feel so good about it, like, was there anything there? Yeah, we didn't hit out of the park. We didn't even hit a single, right? Didn't feel like it. You go home, you listen to it, and again, I'm a bit of a narcissist, so I kind of like the sound of my own voice. Right. But yeah, they're pretty damn good.
Oh, good.
You know, I mean, some are clearly better than last week's. I mean, dude, the one we did the last 2 weeks, spot freaking on. I mean, you and we've got our mojo.
Good.
But today was a little weird, so I apologize to everybody in advance. But thank you. We still had fun. We had fun. Screw those guys.
Well, we talked about our dream cars.
Yes.
So what do you go climb into to go home from this? Because I'd like one of those new Cadillac V's, man, with all that horsepower. I'm going to go hop into the Honda minivan with 250,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
You know, and drive home.
I'm gonna hop into a Nissan Altima hybrid. Because my wife, she didn't insist, but I knew if I got a hybrid, you know, I might get lucky.
There you go.